and welcome to this week's episode of Geekly Talks Comics. I'm your host, Gary Driscoll, Archer on Blogs and Forum, and my guests this week are...
Terry and James.
Both good friends, both new to the show. And this is a very special episode, viewers, because this is our Terrysode. This is the chance for Terry to finally vent his spleen about everything that's gone wrong with Villains Month and a couple of other topics. So, on that subject, we'll start. Terry, what the hell are DC playing at with Villains Month?
Well, we had a phone call about a week before this Villains Month with the lenticular 3D covers came out.
Yeah.
Telling us that DC had somehow got the figures wrong with what people had ordered, and we'd only be getting the average of the last 3 months of any particular title.
Okay.
But they would fill the gap, if there was one, with a standard issue of the comic.
Right, okay.
Now, first thing I thought of, well, why the hell am I filling out an order form 2 months before if DC are guessing what we're going to want any particular month?
Yeah.
Because surely, after all the forms were collated, they knew exactly to the issue how many lenticular comics of each character they required. It's my belief that DC stiffed up. They realised after the order forms had gone out that they should have had a standard cover as well to give people a choice. Because some guys like to buy the standard cover and the lenticular cover.
Yeah.
And they honestly believe that this was a load of shibboleth to match the fact that they stiffed up and said and forgot to solicit the standard cover.
Yeah. Even though they'd announced months before that it would all be 3D.
Yeah, and I think it's a poor show. It's really sort of disillusioned me about DC Comics. Because up to that time I thought they were a good bunch of guys, but obviously because of the shortage, several unscrupulous comic dealers saw this an advantage to make money.
Yeah.
So where DC would have made the money by shipping the right amount of covers, but a lot of comic shops, on the Wednesday that the comics were released, customer of mine said that a certain comic shop in Cardiff, who I'm forbidden to say the name of.
Do you want to give an address, sorry?
I'm forbidden to give the name of this comic shop. They're selling the Joker cover for £8.50.
Right.
When the actual cover price was only £3. So lots of dealers made loads of money out of this, but DC didn't.
Yeah.
And I believe the Wolverhampton comic fair on the weekend after, nothing under £10.
Yeah. So
this encouraged people to sort of rob your customers, really, blatantly, by saying, oh, you've got to pay more because there's less of them.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that. It might sound stupid, but I don't believe in doing that. Everybody who came to my shop, my customers, had them at the cover price.
Yeah. No, I can vouch for that. You had all my covers, I only paid £3.
Right, I
never paid any more than
that. It was difficult because I had to sort of decide 1 week to the next who should have the lenticular cover and who should have the standard cover.
Yeah.
So what I did myself was 1 week a guy would have the lenticular cover and the next week he'd have a standard one.
Yeah.
And then the guy who had the standard would have the lenticular the week after.
Yeah.
So it was fair. Some had to lose out, but it was beyond my control.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I should have to keep apologising for what DC did, because they stiffed up.
It's not fair on you, because the amount of customers you would have had coming in asking for the covers and then not understanding, because unlike us, they don't follow the news on the websites and things or on the papers. They say DC basically have buggered this up. You know, they've said they're going to have all 3D lenticular covers, and now they've literally weeks to go said, actually, we're not going to have 3D lenticular covers, we're going to have half and half. Yeah. And it's, as you say, the lenticulars are basically going to be at a premium in terms of who gets them and who doesn't.
I don't know if it was a case of it was going to cost them too much. They hadn't realised what the cost of these, because obviously dealers would have ordered a lot more because it's a special cover, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't know whether they thought, well, you know, this is going to cost us a lot of money, so let's restrict what we're paying. Yeah. To put the standard one out. I mean, I think if they put another 50 cents on the comics, you know, or $1, I should say, they would have put the comic up by 50p. I'm sure people wouldn't have minded paying another 50 pence. Yeah. Because they were, some of the covers were fantastic. Yeah. I'm not sure about the story content, whether that was any good, but the look of them was really good. They looked really impressive on the shelf. Yeah.
I've got to be honest, a lot of mine, I love the covers. I saw the 3D effect on them, and I quite liked it. Because I remember saying, I think it was City Zach, to ask you, just say, tell Terry, I'm not bothered if I don't get the lenticular ones. The only one I want is Green Arrow, and that was perfect bit of fan because it was Count Vertigo. So it was the only lenticular cover that kind of really made sense of, this is Count Vertigo, this makes the most sense to be 3D.
Yeah. And it was the only comic that I had my full allocation of.
Yeah.
As well. So I didn't get a percentage.
Yeah, just clarifying. When you say 3D lenticular, is it the sort of like when you move it, it
Well,
moves,
that's
or
right,
is it the ones
exactly.
that pop out? Because like, I know there've been a few comic books where it's like, you know, embossed and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, there was a definite movement. You had the Joker's gun moved, and the teeth opened and closed. He had teeth in the one hand of the gun, and the gun moved, and the teeth opened and closed like that.
Because again, like I would probably pay more for one of those on the comic I like. Yeah. So like if it was X-Men, I'd probably pay more for that. But then obviously if it was something else for like Batman or Superman, which I don't read as much or at all, I wouldn't pay as much. So the standing cover would have made sense. So I can understand why they did it in that sense. But then again, I'm not a die-hard comic fan. Yeah. And there's going to be some people out there who would want every single lenticular cover and probably every single standard cover. So
it was meant. Sorry, Terry.
Yeah, but if you were a Batman fan, it wouldn't cost you any more money.
Exactly.
Because the $3.99 price for the Batman Detective Dark Knight whatever, that stayed the same for the lenticular cover. The only ones that went up were the $2.99 ones. They went up to $3.99.
That's not too bad, then, is it? Like it's paying.
You know, your Flash and your Suicide Squad and stuff like that. That would have gone up.
Yeah.
By another dollar. But like, this wasn't a lot to ask. Just because they were really cool covers. Like you can't fault them on the production value of it.
Yeah.
The look of them.
Like, the good thing of it was they were like, I thought they were lovely covers, like great covers. Problem is like as Terry says, $2.99 books became $3.99. And the problem for someone like me who's buying the Bat titles, you've say 4 or 5 regular Bat titles to buy, and then within them you might have 4 issues. So you have Batman 23.1, 23.2. So you had one for each week. So what would normally be a £3 spend each month became a £12 spend. And they did this
book, Bat Family, 4 Bat books, all
multiplied by
had
each
4
book,
books each.
Yeah.
16 Bat books during that month, like minimum.
Yeah. Thank you, Monsieur Director. But yeah, this is the idea. So like, whereas I would have spent £3 on one book, I was now spending over the course of the month £12 on 4 books. And the idea is obviously because it was the anniversary of the new 52, each book is either a backstory for the villain, or it's continuing a story that already happened with them and tying it in now to Forever Evil, which is their big event that they're doing at the minute. This was the idea. And I've read something recently actually that apparently DC have looked at the figures for the villains one, and the rumour is that going forward now is DC what people are willing to pay. What was popular, like the lenticular covers going up to premium for $3.99, like how many people were willing to pay that? As you said, James, like for getting a bit extra, paying that, people are willing to do that.
Something you would put on display and then be like, aha, like some people would get the standard covers and it would go into their collection and it would never come out again.
Yeah.
But it's more like a. Oh, it's my phone. Can someone just go and push?
After that technical difficulty.
You would put something on display, like we have the posters around here. It could almost be a mini poster or piece you would like frame and maybe put on there. So I can understand. I can see why they did it. And like reading some stuff today about like the rates where like people were buying a lot of the 3D covers, a lot more. Yeah. So like apparently shops. I was looking maybe at the US sort of.
Yeah.
The trade went high up. Like a lot of people were buying a lot of them because it might be like, oh, that looks awesome. Let's read that.
Yeah.
And then they start getting into it, and then so I kind of like this new villains month. Like I like the idea of it because you never really get to know much about the villains.
Yeah.
So like if they did that for some villains, I would definitely pick up that one issue and be like, oh, let's learn about this villain or why he's like this. So I like the idea of it. I don't know if it worked or not. Like I've not read much of it.
Well, it did sell very well. Because there's 52 comics in the DC universe every month. They drop certain titles like All Star Western to accommodate the extra Batmans and Superman comics, and so I probably think that they thought that people who were going to buy All-Star Western would buy a Batman one because they didn't have an All-Star Western for that issue.
Insert totally unrelated Army of Darkness non-plug. I mean, why would we plug a comic about Ash and the Army of Darkness coming out in the next month, I believe, written by Steve Niles, and ongoing series. If you enjoy hack and slash, maybe you want to check out Army of Darkness hack and slash. Maybe you want to go to Negative Zone Comic. We don't plug anything on this show. The director.
Advert from my sponsor.
Yeah, the director. While you're there, sure. Maybe you want to. We look at Sticky Ink Studios as well. Locally based. I mean, we never plug anything in the show, and it's not like the director of the billboard saying plug this writer.
He's standing up now with a sign saying plug.
He's just like, I love Steve Niles. I pledge my allegiance to Steve Niles. We must talk about all his books. In fact, probably coming soon, viewers, there will be a Steve Niles episode, so keep an eye out for them. The director should give me a thumbs up. He is happy with this.
2 thumbs up. That's the series thumbs. This
is it now. This is his day made.
He's trying to get approval from the producer.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you go, folks. We're getting a Steve Niles episode. Tell your friends, tell your family, if they're fans. Geekly exclusive. In the future, we're going to have a Steve Niles episode.
Wow.
There we go. Oh, man, this is the magic of Geekly. It's life changing.
Yes. Back to the show.
We need to do the live podcast next.
Yeah.
Hard hitting.
Just getting there, just Steve Niles all time, all day. But James, I mean, have you ever had any problems, man? Like a book you reading is the writer or the artist?
Yes and no. At the beginning, the biggest title I like is All New X-Men. I absolutely love that. It's not brand new. It's newish though. And at the beginning, it came out like once a week, and I was like, well, probably not once a week, and I was like, brill.
Once a month.
Once a month. Is it? Yeah, sorry, once a month, and I was like, okay, I can deal with that. And I had it in my calendar every month, and then it sort of got slower at one point, and then it got faster at another point.
Yeah.
And it was like I didn't know when to keep up.
2 a month now.
Yeah. So
really.
So.
And I've lost track now, so I don't know. I think I was on like issue even 15, my last one, and we're probably miles ahead now. I've just been too busy to carry on.
Yeah.
But like because they changed the date, they should have a set date every month where it's like, oh yeah, on this date it's going to be this comic, on this date it's going to be this comic. Because then someone who's not massively into their comics like me can set their calendar to it, and I can be like, right, I'm going to a Negative Zone on Wednesday and buying my comic.
Yeah. you know which Wednesday in the month.
Yeah, exactly. So like that kind of annoyed me because like I went one week and like I was like, oh yeah, you got this episode? Like that came out 2 weeks ago, and I was like, no, it didn't. And then I got disproven as he held up the comic, and I was like, oh okay, there we go. Fine. So yeah, that's that's probably the only time I've ever really had a gripe at anything.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the only one I can really gripe about is Kevin Smith. Daredevil Bullseye. You probably know about this one, Terry.
Spidey and the Black Cat's another one.
Spidey and the Black Cat's another one I can gripe about. You ever heard of these?
I know the characters.
You know
obviously I know Kevin Smith and Daredevil and Bullseye.
Forgive me, dude. Basically, Daredevil Bullseye is well known among Daredevil fans because basically it's only got one issue.
Oh, fair enough.
It came out in 2003. It came out about a week, 2 weeks after the movie came out. And it started off really good, and it was meant to be a new series. And basically, they brought, as the title implies, Daredevil and Bullseye. It was just after Karen Page's... It's Karen Page, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you. My God, I've got another Daredevil expert beside me. Karen Page, it's not long after she was killed in the comics. And Bullseye has come back to New York, and they did the thing of the coat and making him look like Colin Farrell in the film. But the point was, it was meant to be a mini series, and 10 years later, he's only done one issue.
Maybe he's doing one a decade.
Yeah.
So maybe 2013,
Do you know what?
10 years on.
It wouldn't surprise me, even if we get issue 2 at this point, we would just be happy, even just to see a page from it. And then he took on, I think it was Spider-Man, Black Cat again. It was a really good book, got about 4 issues in, and then it was cancelled off. I can't remember now the reasons. Kevin Smith had a falling out with Marvel, and he just walked away. He says, no, bugger this, I'm done, I'm out of here. So it meant that we got 4 issues into the 6-issue series, and that was it. We've never gotten any more. I mean,
you'd think there'd be some sort of contract that you have to finish the story, or at least write in advance.
Clause, penalty clause, and you don't get paid if you don't finish the series.
You have hundreds, maybe thousands of fans who are halfway through the series, and is it gone?
Yeah, that's it. It's done.
Luckily, that's never happened to me, so I don't ever know. I've never known that sort of annoyance, but it must be.
What about the poor bloke who's got to order them? You got to order issue 6.
See, this is why I wait for the whole thing to come out.
2 years after number 5, you think, what the frick did I order at number 5? So I don't order too many, or I don't order enough.
Yeah. And
the other problem.
The problem is contact people, tell them, by the way, that issue that came out 5 years ago has now got another issue out.
See, this is why you should wait until they're all out, and then buy them all in one big set.
They just don't seem to care about the retailer. They treat us with a cavalier attitude, and we're
Well,
supposed to make them their money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's just to make them their money.
Yeah, this is that. Well, that's fortunately it for the show now, but thank you both, gentlemen. It's
Thank you.
been a pleasure. Right,
Thank
so
you, Mr. Director, Ms. Producer.
That's
all
it
the
with
comic
that,
fans
folks.
out there.
we will cancel off. This has been another episode of Geekly Talks Comics. I hope you enjoyed it all, and we'll see you next time.
And another point before we go, Agent Coulson is a life model decoy.
And on that note,
You spoiled it!